YouTube is working. Apparently there's a problem with YouTube. Let me just check that. I will look for it. 1 second. Here we go. Let me just turn on. Here we go. Hopefully YouTube should be on and live now. Sorry about everyone who was wondering, but basically for those of you who's missed it, I'm going to show you how to turn out. Welcome to our YouTube viewers. Yeah, I'm going to show you how to turn this little beaded egg, this little wooden egg, into a gorgeous beaded egg like this one just here. The basics are netting stitch, which I'm going to use through the middle. Plus I'll show you how to use 2-drop peyote, single peyote, and also how to do some row reducers to turn this little section into a nice little covering along the bottom. I probably won't show you how to do the top because it's very similar to how to do the base and it will take us a long time. But if you want to go and get the kit, sorry for those of you on Facebook who've heard me say all this, but the people on YouTube were missing out. There's 5 colors. So this one here is our amethyst. We've also got the jewel, the pastel. There is the red one is this one here, which looks gorgeous. I'm going to be demonstrating with this a little bit later on. And then the last one, which I've made my little tiny sample piece, this one here is the golden turquoise color. So as you can see, it's got like a lovely white, a gorgeous turquoise color in the middle, and then gold as the highlights there too. So these are the different bits that I will be showing you. So yeah, lots and lots to see, lots and lots to learn. One good bit of news is that the diagrams are back. So I've got my diagrams for you guys to see. I will just say hello to a few people. Let's see how many people we've already got joining us, which is always great. Lots of comments. So Rebecca was here super duper early. She was really excited, so thanks for joining us, Rebecca. 24 minutes early she popped in. Stacy was here 15 minutes early. Eugenia as well. Lisa. Lots of a big chat going on over in YouTube before it even started. Penny was here. Have we got my Facebook comments? Yes, Monica is here. Jan is here. Irina is here as well. Welcome to Azra. Carol, we've got Colleen, Julie, lots and lots of different people. If you're new, comment in and say hello. I'd love to give you a little shout out to say hello. So welcome to everybody who has joined us. Lots and lots and lots of comments, which is fantastic. But yeah, I hope you're all going to enjoy today's little tutorial. Just realized I still got that comment up there. There we go. Yeah, so I'll begin, shall I? So to start with, I'm going to show you how to do the netting, but I'm going to do it in like a basic form. So this little netting, which goes around the middle of our egg like a little belt, I'm going to first show you how to do it without the pattern, and just so you can sort of come to grips with the technique. And then I'm going to jump ahead and sort of show you how to do a bit of the pattern work, but also how to stitch it into one single piece as well. Just in case you missed it last week, my tutorial that I did last week, you can still get the design on sale, which are these 3 just here. So if you want to get these really cute little bracelets, you can still get these on sale on the Bead Spider website until Sunday. So there's not much time left. 3 colors of that one. And then also the Crazy Daisy necklace also on our website, which is this gorgeous little fellow over here. Where are you? Here we are. The Crazy Daisy necklace. So that's that one there. If you didn't see that, this was last Friday's tutorial. You can go check that out if you want to. But that's the last of that I'm going to tell you about that. Now let's get into some beading. Question from Brenda is, what size is the egg? This one, it's around about 6 centimeters by about 4 centimeters. So 4 centimeters this way, 6 centimeters this way, around about. It can be a little bit bigger and a little bit smaller, but around about you want to have 4 centimeters this way, and then if you're within 6 to 6.5 centimeters, it should be okay. A little bit more, a little bit under, it'll be okay. I'm using Preciosa size 10 seed beads as well, by the way. I'm going to be using my Spider-on thread as per usual because I love it. I've got a lovely blue colour which hopefully will stand out nicely for the start of our little process here. And of course, as per usual, I'm using a size 11 beading needle, which are the ones that come with our thread. So if you buy any of our Spider-on thread, you'll also get one of those size 11 needles, which a lot of you are often complimenting and saying they think they are fantastic. So if you want to be one of those people and try it out, go check it out on the website. As per usual, links are all in the description to see everything. Great. So I've got my needle on and I've got my thread. We start by just giving ourselves a little stopper bead. Maybe I'll use a slightly different color just to make it a bit easier for me to see what I'm doing. So this one here, this is going to be my stopper bead. Slide that down, and we're going to be working with a nice wide row here, which you could even turn this into a bracelet if you wanted to, but I'm passing through this bead a couple of times just to lock it in place before I continue on adding my beads. I'm even going to go through it a third time, seeing as this is just a practice piece to keep it nice and firm. So there we go. And yeah, so we need to pick up, to start with, 30 beads. So if I show you the diagram, essentially, the instructions, of course, do come with the kit, but I've got more diagrams. I just realized there's the stopper bead, but I didn't put this diagram in. Essentially, we're going to go with 30 beads. If you've got your pattern, which the pattern is included with the kit as well, I've got it in a couple of different ways. There's a little word chart, plus I've got sort of like a visual chart on there too. I've tried to make it as easy as possible for you guys to work through it all. Where is it? Here we go. See, look, I've got like a little exploded chart for how you begin. So anyway, I'll come to this later, but not yet. But essentially, we're going to be working with 30 beads in a row. So I've got this yellow and blue to start off with, just to sort of show you the basics of how this is going to work, the stitch, and then I'll show you how we add our pattern in a little bit later after that. So anyway, using these little beads here, let's just pop these fellas aside and we'll begin, finally. So, basically we need to do 30 beads in our first little row. So I'll just show you just here how it's going to work, where essentially it's with little vertices. So if we have a look on here, if you have a look just closely, especially like sort of here, you can see there's like a nice little vertice there, a vertice here, where the beads sort of come to a point. So I'm going to make these little vertices so you can see how it works in like a yellow, and I'll do the rest of it in a blue color. So if I just, for start with, because I'm doing 30 beads, you'll soon see, I'm going to just thread them on as though it were with no pattern, which will look something kind of like this. Not quite right. This is if you were just wanting to do it in 2 colors with netting and stuff. This is a little bit different, but this was sort of a test piece that we made. But so essentially I'm going to use 2 colors similar to this, just for this very beginning process while I thread on my beads. So yeah, like I said, 30 beads to begin with. Every 4th bead is going to be one of the yellows, because that's where our vertices will be. So if I just minimize, sorry, just 1 second. I just need to make it so I can see everybody's comments. There we go. Here we go. Yeah, Jan says you've got colors to support Ukraine. Exactly. Unintentional, but you're right. They are. Now let's continue on. I'm going to just add, picking up beads like so. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So I'm halfway there. 16, 17, 18, 19 is yellow, 20, 21, 22, and a yellow. Oh, I just realized, oh well, it doesn't matter. 23, 24, 25, and a yellow. 7. And a yellow. I think that's 30. Let me just count them up and I'll check. I may have one bead too many. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. One too many. Okay. So once I've got my 30 beads on, I just realized I stuffed up my vertices a little bit. I was meant to do it every second bead. Doesn't matter. Anyway, so once I've got my 30 beads, I'm going to pick up 5 more, which, ready? I know you guys love them. Here come my diagrams. Here we go. This is the very first one. So there we are. What we're doing, we're going to pick up 5 more beads, which I'll just use blue ones for now. 2, 3, 4, and 5. And basically what we're doing is coming back down. See these little groups of 3? I'm going to go through the middle one. I intended to do it with, I should have made these blue ones in the middle yellow, but, you know, we'll soon see. So anyway, down through that middle section of 3, we're working in little groups of 3, always in groups of 3 as we do this. So if I just bring that on down, hopefully I can get it nice and firm against my stopper. Gives us a little group of 5 beads at the very, very top here. So now if I just continue along, you'll see 1, if I pick up 1, whatever will become my vertice, and 2. So the middle bead is going to become the vertice every time we do our stitches. So if I continue, I'll go down through the middle bead here, which is blue. Actually, this is going to work out well. I'll be able to tell you in a minute a little thing that helps. See, look, see how we've got little yellow vertices now? I'll go down 1 blue, 1 yellow, and 1 blue, which is going to give us another little vertice as well. So again, I'm going to skip... Oh, did I go into the wrong bead? No. Maybe? Did I? No. So we're going to go into our next middle bead here, which is this one. So there's this next group of 3, pass into the middle of that one, which essentially we're skipping 3 beads. 1, 2, 3, and into the 4th. You're always kind of doing little skips of just 3 beads as we do this process. So more or less, I'm going to just continue back downwards. I'll show you the next diagram, which I think I've got the button to make it nice and big. Yes, I do. So the next diagram I'll be using, see, this is what I'm doing just here. Picking up 3 beads, skipping 3 beads, and then passing into the 4th bead thereafter. So essentially, it's just working all the way down our piece, going into the next, pick up 3, skip 3. Pick up 3, skip 3, until we get almost to the very, very bottom. So if I just keep doing that, you'll see, if I go 1 yellow, come on now, there we go, and 1 blue one. If I skip 3 beads, so I'm exiting from this little bead just here, if I pick up 3, which there they are, I'm going to skip 1, 2, and 3, pass into the 4th bead, which is the middle of our little group here, which is going to become a vertice. So we pull that tight, and that's going to continue. So I'm going to just keep going now, all the way down to the bottom, repeating that process. So pick one up, pick up the color of my vertice, which is the yellow. Then another one, skip 3 beads, pass into the 4th one, which happens to be the middle section of my previous rows. And if I just keep on going until I'm almost at the bottom, you'll start to see how it's working. So here we go, down there. Again, I skipped 3 beads, passed into the 4th bead, and that gives us sort of this 3 beads on the left, 3 beads on the right, and that's going to sort of give us the shape of our netting. So again, I'm exiting from this bead here, skip 1, 2, 3. I've picked up 3 beads, skipping 1, 2, 3, passing down into the fourth bead, so that essentially I've got 3 on the left, 3 on the right, and if my needle will get in there, there we go, into that fourth bead, and then as I pull it tight, they sit 3 beads beside, 3 to the left, 3 to the right, and we're ready to continue with the next little group. So I'll pick up blue, yellow, and a blue. I'm going to go from here, skip this one, and into this little one towards the end, more or less. Must have picked up 28 beads. I must have taken a few off. Doesn't matter. Just check I've got it all accurate. There we go. Yeah, looks pretty good. And now essentially I can do like a little turnaround. So if we have a look, I'll show you the next diagram here. So if we have a look, the next diagram, I'm going to pick up 5 beads and I'm going to go into the middle of the center. What do I keep saying? People keep saying it's a... what word do I keep using? I didn't even realize. But anyway, where they're going to join each other, I'm going to pick up 5 beads and go into that yellow little one in the middle there. So if we have a look, let's have a little look. And the next one, again, I'm going to pick up those 5 beads. So I'll go 1, 2... I'll go blue, yellow, and a blue. Because essentially this first yellow is going to become like the bead at the very bottom. So we'll have a blue one, then a yellow, a blue. It's going to become a vertex. In fact, I'll swap it to right-hand view so it matches the diagram a little better. Here we go. And if I come around, see how we've got the little vertex just there. Vertex is another word of the same. Vortex, you're right. Vertex is singular and vertices is plural. There's many vertices. You're right. So anyway, I'm going into that yellow one here, which as I turn around, this is a little bit of maths that we're talking about here, geometry terms. So anyway, you can see I went into that little yellow bead here. That creates this nice little turnaround, which, see this little yellow bead? When I continue, you see this one sits at the top. This is going to become a vertex, thanks Jan, a little bit later on. And now, again, from exiting this yellow bead, I can pick up 1 blue, 1 yellow, and 1 blue. And if I skip 3 beads, look, 1, 2, 3, into the next vertex, it will join those little beads, and I've got 3 beads now sitting beside these 3. So if you have a look, there's 1, 2, 3 here, and beside it, I've got 1, 2, 3 on this side, because when I get back to it, it will give me a nice point where I can attach as I'm going back and forth. So I'll just continue with this little row. I'll do a few rows. So blue, yellow, blue. The yellow ones are where are my vertices, where I join, where you've got the lines coming together. So I'm exiting this one, I'm skipping these 3 beads, picked up 3 beads, and I'm joining into that next one. So you can see that's going to sort of give us a matching gap beside it. I'll pick up 3 more, so a blue, a yellow, and a blue. Skip 3 beads and into the next. See how we made those groups of 3 beads before? This little yellow one sits in the middle there, which if I just show you, essentially we're just working back up the same way that we went down. So in terms of instructions, this is what we're doing just here. Up there in the top corner, you can sort of see how that works. So hopefully as we continue, you'll start to see that it creates that little pattern as we go. So into the next yellow bead, pull it tight, And it looks a little messy at the beginning, but once we've done a few more, it really will start to make more visual sense. So the first couple of rows can look a little confusing, but it definitely gets easier and easier. Much like with Peyote stitch, by the way, I should mention that when you're doing your third row, you can accidentally twist, so you have to be really careful that you're going into the right bead. So like, for example, here, see this one, it's blue on this side and yellow on that side. It's probably because it's twisted around, and you just have to check that you're going into the correct bead as per your pattern. So in this instance, I'll go blue, yellow, and a blue, and make sure I'm going into that little vertex to the correct side and pop that in there so that it's looking lovely and neat. So when I turn around now, you'll start to see the pattern, this sort of shape forming. So I'm going to pick up my 5 beads, which, so that you can see the little vertices, I'm doing blue, yellow, because the yellows are going to be my little joins. I'll turn around, and this little last group of 3 beads that I just added, I'm going into the middle of that. So as I turn around, it's going to be going back sort of the direction that we came. If I make it nice and big for you, there it is. I'm going all the way back around into that third bead that I added. So essentially, exiting from this bead here, I'm going to be going around and back into the middle of this last group of 3 that I just added. So as I pull that tight, this one here is in the center. So my 5 beads will go down into that yellow bead, back in the opposite direction. I can pull it tight. This is a good opportunity to pull the whole row tight. Just pull on those last 5 beads, hold it between your index and thumb, and then pull it tight, and that'll give it nice and firm. And now again, I'm going to work back down my piece just like that. You can see I've changed the diagram now so you can see it. So picking up 1 blue, 1 yellow, 1 blue, and I'm going to go into the next group of 3 beads. So you know how I added groups of 3 like this one in the previous row? Here is the middle bead from the one previous. So I'll go down that, and then as I pull that tight, you start to see how you've got like this nice little group of 5 beads, 1 in the middle and 4 around it, right? So as I continue down, it will turn all of these into much neater versions of that same thing. And hopefully, if you've got a lovely firm tension, you'll have 1 bead that's sticking out where you will be continuing your working. So if I pick up a blue, a yellow, and a blue, much like in our previous one, we're going to skip 1, 2, and 3 beads into this one here, which is the middle of the group of 3 from earlier, from the last row. Pull that tight, and there you go. You can see I've got that yellow one sticking out ready to go into the next, but also the one beside it is all neatened up now into that little group of 5. So I'll keep going down this row until I get to the end, and then I'll show you how you can start working with a pattern. So it's pretty much the same deal if you just use this same technique. This is all you need to do technique-wise, is picking up 3 beads and going into the middle of the next group of 3 beads sort of from the previous row. So here's the next group of 3 beads from the previous row. I'm going to pick up 3 beads. The easiest way to know which one is the middle, obviously in this case I've made it yellow, but you can also count 1, 2, 3 beads. I've picked up 3 beads, so I'm skipping 3 beads and into this one here, which is the middle one of that earlier group. See, in the previous row. So now again, I want to go into this yellow one. So if we count 1, 2, 3 beads, I'm going to pick up 1, 2, 3 beads. They're going to sit side by side pretty much. And I'm going to go down into that last little yellow one here, which is in the middle of that group. Are we getting it? Are we understanding? Is it all making sense? Are we sort of getting it? Is it clear? Am I making sense here? Hopefully this is, understandable. So again, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, skip that because I've picked up 3, into the next one, which is the middle of the group of 3 from earlier. Pull that tight, because essentially what we're going to do, all of these groups of 3 that I've just added just now, I'm going to be going into these beads again on the way back up. So in the previous row, this bead here, and when I come back around, I'm going to be going from this one to this one to this one to this one, which is the middle bead that I've been picking up in this row. Hopefully I'm explaining it clearly for you. Jackie says, very good, Matthew. Oh, good. I'm glad it's making sense. So anyway, I'll go down into this one here, and now I'm going to show you how to start working with our pattern. So I don't need to take too long. If I just zoom in, you can see how you've got this nice little shape forming. I'll use another needle just here. So see that? There's that little group of 4. There's another group of 4 there, group of 4 here, and then you've got another one sort of diagonal to it. So this is the sort of the netting shape that we're creating. These little groups of 5 sort of all stitched to each other. See, there's one there, there's another one there, and one beside it, one down here, one over there. All of these little groups, we're going to end up making loads and loads and loads and loads and loads and loads of them so that it creates our pattern. See that? So essentially, it's just picking up 3 beads, going through each of those vertices. Hi to Kirsten, by the way, who says, I'm having my tea. What a great idea. I'm going to have mine with my Mathew mug. But yeah, hopefully that kind of starts to make sense. This one's from the red, by the way. So I will show you how you can follow a pattern to start creating the design. Because if you have a look, let me show you. It should create, actually, maybe it's a bit easier on this one because it's all opaque. A really nice little fleur-de-lis type thing here in your one color. You've got your second color here, which is going to be the highlight on the base. And then, of course, we've got our background color, which in this one is the blue. So I'm going to show you guys now. We don't need the instructions anymore, just for now. I'll hide those. But essentially, I'm going to show you how we use our pattern. So I'll zoom out. I'll have to put it back into left-hand view so that we can actually see this instruction. But more or less, what we're doing now... Jean says, I think a kit is going to make its way into my basket. Good. I'm glad about that, Jean. That's Jean Thatcher, who's over on Facebook. If you want to get a kit, to be quick, because they are selling really quickly. I think we sold about half the stock before the stream even started. So anyway, the first row here, which this is where, if I began, I'll sort of jump ahead and pretend that I've done a few rows and I've done the start section. And I'm going to go into one of these rows here. So I'm going to sort of be coming down here. You can see I've got them in little groups of 3, but I also have it in word chart form, which we give you both options. But essentially, I will just pick them up as I go and sort of create them with that pattern using the correct color beads. So if we had a look, for example... my little word chart here, it says, we'll pretend I'm on my repeat row. We've got the first row, we've got a color C, which is our background color. Color B, which is our fleur-de-lis type color. And then color A, which is a bit later, is going to be our little color right there in the center. So if I'll just use the colors I've been using plus this purple color. Why not, eh? They can be our new one just here. Let me just get a few little purple beads out, which I've got the color here from my amethyst egg, which looks really cool, I think. By the way, if you want to, with your eggs, you can always paint them beforehand. I wish I had done with this one. Made it like a nice dark purple, or maybe make this one like a light blue egg, or maybe make a dark blue egg on this one, because then the beads stand out a little bit better. But anyway, I'll show you how we do that pattern now. So let's do this pattern. I'll get this out of the way, and then I'm going to show you how to stitch it into a piece, and then we'll sort of move on. So I'll only do a little bit. So remember how it said a C and 2 Bs? So if we say C, which is the background color, I'll pick up a C, and I'll pretend that the purple is my fleur-de-lis colour. I'd pick up a C and 2 Bs. So now, when I come into... Oh, I need to do a turnaround, which I'll just do it with 5 beads. 2, 3, 4, 5 beads. Do a turnaround, whatever. Doesn't matter much. Pull it tight. Try and keep a good tension while we're doing it. And now, if we pick up the beads as per our pattern, so 2 C's and a B says the word chart. So I'm exiting the wrong bead, actually. Whatever, doesn't matter. I'll just go through into the correct bead rather than fixing it. So I did go into the wrong bead there. I was meant to go into the yellow, but I went into a blue one. So let's pretend I went into the yellow bead first time. So anyway, following the pattern, 2 C's and a B, and I'll just jump into the middle bead, because when you're doing this, you don't have these yellow ones to go, hey, look, this one's the vertex. We go into the central one. So when we come back, see how there's this little group here that we've just added? It's this one here that we would be using to create that vertex. So now I'll do my next little one. So that will be a C, a B, and a C. Whoops, a C, a B, and a C. And I'll go skip 1, 2, 3 and into the middle of this little section here. Then we've got BAB, so we'll go a B, a yellow, which is A, and a B, into the next middle of the group of 3. And once you get the hang of the stitch, I do recommend having a go at doing the stitch before trying it with a pattern. It can be a little bit confusing when you're trying to do a pattern for the very first time to sort of know exactly where you're going. So make a sample piece and then take it apart and then start making it afresh. Or even you could make a sample piece that you just take off at the end, you know what I mean? Okay, then 2 Bs. Oh well. 2 Bs and a C. Oh no, I'm not there yet. So we've got BCB. BCB. Into the next one. And we're just going to keep going, adding the beads of our pattern as it says. BBCA. And then when we come to do our turnaround, so this one, BCC, into here, and then we finish off with 5 of our colour Cs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So to do our turnaround, just like before, we're turning around and going into the middle of that last group of 3 we just did. So if we go back around into that middle one, and that's going to give us that turnaround. Pull tight, and there's those 5 little beads there. Then we do our next one. So if we have a look, we've got 1, 2, 3 beads here. So I need to make sure I'm going through the middle one of these 3 beads here. So if I pick up a B and 2 Cs, we can go into that one there. Then we can go 2 Bs and a C. And again, see, look, here's our next group of 3. This one's in the middle, so we go through there. Then we pick up a B and 2 Cs. And then look, we've got another middle bead here. So we go into that one. And we just sort of continue going from middle bead to middle bead to middle bead all the way down until we get to the other end. And then when we come back, we've got to look at what's the middle bead of each of these ones that we've done in this one. So in this case, we'll be attaching to here. In this one, we'll be attaching to here. On this one, we'll attach to there. So forth, all the way back and forth, back and forth, back and forth until we've done... Whoops. Let me just take off my needle. Until we, by the magic of television, Ready? We go. Oh, come on, come on. This is gonna be good fun. Until we go like this. Ta-da! Here's one I made earlier. It's fun using that. So anyway, once we've done our full pattern, you'll know because you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of our little fleur-de-lis bits, and we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and a half here and almost a half here of our other piece as well. So if I just turn this over, you can see I've still got my stopper bead down here at the bottom and the 2 beads following. And if I just grab this here, I'm going to follow my pattern to finish off this little piece here and stitch it into a single piece that's going to become the wrapping around our egg. So I'll just show you real quick essentially what we're going to be doing. So if we have a look, if I've got my egg, it's going to become the belt around it. So you want to just check. There's a few things you want to check before you stitch it together. But basically, you want it so that it's nice and close. But see how they're almost touching? That's going to allow us to stitch them together really nicely into that single piece and create that one lovely bit around our egg. See how it's a nice middle section around our little eggy fellow here? So this is what we're making just here. So if I continue now with the pattern to stitch these 2 pieces together, again, we do have the information on our zip rows. So to get the final row, I'm going to need to do this little bit corner here. So I'll pick up 3 C's, and then going from one side to the other, to one side to the other, to one side to the other, and back and forth, stitching the 2 pieces, I'm going to add C, a C, a C, an A, a C, a C, an A, a C, a C, a C, and then this will bring me back to the opposite side. So I'm going to just get out my beads really quickly. I don't need any of the red ones just yet. So let me just very quickly put away these beads. I'm going to get out the new beads because this is the one I'm going to be demonstrating with for the next little bit and how to do the actual peyote bit. I'm going to show you with this one to start with. So this is where we're moving to now. Which of the 5 colors is your favorite, by the way? Did you, if you haven't seen them all, you can have a look on the website. I'll show you towards the end what they all look like. But there's the jewel, which is this one. The pastel is this one. This one here is the romantic red. We were going to call it like we wanted to think of a good Scottish theme. This one here's the amethyst. A nice Scottish theme for this one because it almost reminds me of tartan, but we didn't want to call it a Scotch egg. So, and then this one here is the golden turquoise. So anyway, hopefully I've got my little beads out now. Let's just put some of these out of the way. So look, we give you enough beads to do everything. These are the 3 colors that I've been using. It's like a really nice sort of metallic silver, a silver line, bright red, and we've also got this sort of darker red as our background color. So this is my color C, this is my color B, and this one is my color A. So if I just do this really, really quickly, when I stitch them together, I'm going to do the stitching off of the egg. And then I'm going to slip it onto the egg, but I'll show you what we need to be looking out for before we do our stitching to make sure that we've done the right number of rows. So basically what you would need to do is count the little edge beads here. So if I tell you what I mean by an edge bead, Sandy says I like the gold one. Nancy also likes the gold one. Nancy says it's a very pretty pattern too. Come on, everyone. Tell me, which one is your favorite color? I want to see, vote away. Vote, vote, vote. Let's just get the last of these little beads. Comment in, everyone. Come on, keep coming. I want more of those comments coming in with everybody's favorite color. Here we go. So now that I've got this, to stitch the 2 pieces together, I'm going to lay them one over onto the other and then I can stitch them together. But to make sure I've actually got the right number of rows, I'm going to count how many of these little up beads there are. So what I mean by an up bead is essentially the middle of the group of 3 of the top. So you know when we do our turn with 5 beads, It's the second bead of those 5, which makes that nice little group of 3 at the top. My edge bead is that 1 right in the center there. See that 1 there, then 1 there. There's 1 here, 1 here, 1 here. The middle of each of those groups. That's what I'm looking for. I want to count those and make sure that I've got 27 on this side. And then on the other side, I want 27 plus my stopper bead. Because in the end, when we stitch it together, there will be 28. So at this point, there needs to be 27 and 27. Tina says she likes the amethyst. Monica likes the gold one. Kirsten likes the gold one. Lots of people saying they love the turquoise and gold. Jan says this one should have been called Celtic Plaid. Yes, so Nancy says, do you mean like a picot bead? Yes, I need to count the little picots at the top. So you want to have 27 this way, 27 and the stopper, like a 28th one, on this side here. Jackie loves the pastel colours. Stephanie likes the jewel one. And Diane says, I'm not good at chatting. Well, improve. No. Here we go. And Kirsten says, they're all pretty. So yeah, now I'm just going to assume I've got them all counted out. So to stitch them to each other, following my pattern, I need to pick up 3 C beads. 2, 3. And if we have a look over here, it's like I'm going to be joining this side to that side, where I'll be going into the middle of each one of these groups of 3 beads. So if we're very careful about this, hopefully you'll see, I'm going to be stitching into this one, because this is like the first group of 3. Then I'll go into the middle of this one, then into this one, then this one, the middle here, and then down into that one there. So if I pull this tight, hopefully when I pop them up, you'll start to see them all. And I can stitch one to the other. So I'm going to pick up 1, 2, and 3. And ready, there's that first group of 3 on the opposite corner. I'm on this side, going into this corner, into that middle bead, downwards. See? So into that one there. And pull roughly close to tight. It doesn't matter if it's a bit loose for now. I'm going to try and put my hand or something. I need something to put in it. Here we go. Just so that you can see it a little bit better, what I'm doing. I'll use a white one, shall I? One white little bead sort tray. So hopefully you'll be able to see a bit better the join happening. So if I pull that together, and now I'm going to just zigzag back and forth, back and forth. So I'm going to just lay out my beads to make sure I get them all correct. I've got 4 C's, so 1 C, 2 C's, 3 C's, 4 C's. Then I've got an A and 2 C's, then an A and probably 4 more C's, and that will finish me off. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. So I like to lay out my rows as I do them, so that when I'm actually doing them, I don't have to think about it. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 all laid out. You don't have to think about it anymore. So there, I'll pick this one up here. I'm exiting from this side of my work. Wait, let's just pull that back tight again. Hopefully it will stay nicely in the middle here. There we go. So exiting from this one, I need to go to the middle of this side over here now. So if I just slide that bead down, if I zoom in, you can see it's this little bead, which is the middle of 3 on this side. I'm going to go down that bead there. So just pull this. Again, if it gets a little bit loose, don't worry. It will all be very easy to tighten towards the end. So just pull that through there. I'm trying to keep it loose so you can see what I'm doing. See, look, there's the first 3 beads we added. This didn't quite go to plan using this white thing. I hoped it would be so much easier than this. There we go. So if I just pull that a little bit more, pull this side up. There we go. That's going to stitch those sides together. Then I'll pick up my next C bead. I'm exiting from this side over here, so I need to jump back over to this side into that middle bead on this side. So I'll pull that one tight there too, and go all the way through there. And I'll pull that together as well. I'm going to take it out of this white thing. Didn't quite go the way I hoped it would, but I can fix that after. So there we go. Give that a nice tug. There we go. And I'm going to just continue going from one side to the other, to the other. So now I'm on this side here. I'm going to jump across into this middle one on this side. See it there? Pull that tight. Then I'll pick up my next one and jump into the middle on this side. Have I missed one? I hope not. Nope, good. Yep, so I'll go into this side here and pull that tight. Then I'll pick up my first of my A color beads and go back into the middle on this side, which is this little bead just here. See, look, there's 1, 2, 3 into the middle one here. And pull tight. Pick up one little brown one into the middle on this side. Pull that tight too. Pick up another C bead. I'm back over on this side, so I'm going to jump back over here into this side. Pick up 1A. Go into the middle bead on this side, which is this little fella here. See that? There's our next group of 3. We're going into that one. Pull that tight. Pick up another one, which is another C bead. I've tried to make this joining stitch as easy as possible with as many C's as possible. That's why we've sort of chosen this part of the pattern to join them together, because it does make it relatively easy. So there we go. Keep going. And in here, through that one there, through that middle bead, that next middle bead. Pull that tight. We're almost at the top now. Pick up this one here and go into the last middle bead on this side. There it is there. Pull that up. And now lastly, see where our little stopper bead is? We want to turn this into the last little picot bit. So what I'm going to do is pick up the last little C bead, and from the side of the stopper bead, before I remove that stopper, this is going to become the point at the edge of this one here. I'm going to go through this one here and the next little bead there, like so. And as I pull that tight, there we go. That's going to create the little picot on the end here. It's going to create the little group of 5 here. And I can just pull all of this nice and firm now. And you see, it gives you a nice seamless stitch where you would never know that there was ever any work going on there. So easy as pie. I can now just go down, back into my work. If I want to, I can even firm up those joins by going back through the same thread path to get it extra tight. Because essentially I'm going to weave this thread off and bring in a new one to do my next section. Because I find that personally, it's much better to have a nice new thread to do this next bit. So into there, then into here. And see, gives us a really nice finished little join. I can just tie my thread into my work and that's going to secure it. So I will do, I mean, I could have kept going, but I'll just tie this off now to get that all finished. And you'll soon see that this should fit very nicely around our little eggy fellow. Through these few beads here, pull that through, tie a nice little knot under here. I just realized I don't have any more of this brown thread. I'll have to use a slightly different color. I've got one that's similar. Oop, try not to get that caught around the wrong side of the bead, which I nearly did. There we go. Come on now. It's always just as you're tying the last little knot that it decides to stop behaving. There we go. In there. Tie that down there. Usually I would suggest doing this more securely, so keep tying more knots, but because I'm just trying to demonstrate this and show it to you, I'm going to move on to the next part without doing too much more tightening, and I'll just cut this off and I'll begin the next part. So just cut that off. What I would suggest here as well is to take off this little stopper bead on here and weave this thread in as well, because you don't need that one either. So I'll just undo that little stopper. There we go, take that stopper off, and then I can just weave this thread in as well. And if I show you what it looks like with our egg on, see that? It fits really nicely in onto the edge of our egg. Look at that, and it's seamless. Because we've done it like this, it's seamless. Care Andrew says, this is a beautiful pattern and seems very doable. I'm glad you think so. And Rhonda's just come in with a very funny comment, which made me almost spit out my tea. She says, I'm thinking my egg will look scrambled rather than netted. Well, Rhonda, you never know. I think you might surprise yourself. You said the same thing about our angel wing kit, and you managed that one, and it looked great. So never underestimate yourself. So anyway, I'm going to, see, there you go. Now I'll show you how we're going to continue with the peyote stitch. I'm going to just do the bottom. I won't bother with doing the top because it would take too long to do both. So I'm just going to do one and one. So essentially grabbing my little thread, I'll tie it off. I'm going to tie it off because otherwise it's going to get in my way and it's going to annoy me and I'm going to start raging, I'm sure of it. So I'll do this really, really quickly and then I'm going to progress on to doing the peyote stitch. So the first part is with 2-drop peyote, and then at the second part it's going to be with we do 2-drop peyote, then it goes into 1-drop, and then eventually we start doing what are called row reducers. So I'm going to show you all 3 of those different steps to get started. So make sure you're not going anywhere just yet. We've still got plenty to learn. Don't forget though, if you're going to get the kit, jump on. I can see the kit is selling very, very well. We only have a limited number of eggs, so that is going to be the end of the kit once we're out of eggs. So if you want to get the kit, be quick, because there's only so many of these little eggy fellas until they're all gone, and they won't be back until at least, we wouldn't be able to get any more for at least a week, probably. So if you want to get the kit, jump in quick and get that one while it's available. Okay, that will do. I'm going to just tie that off now. There you go. Wasn't that quick? Just while I did a little bit of telling you what's coming, I've pretty much got this tied and ready to go, and I can continue now. So if I just snip that on, I'm going to bring in a new thread here, which I'm using the same color as I have been all along. It's, if you give yourself about 2 meters, you'll probably be able to do the whole thing in one go, but I'm just going to use a little piece so that it's not so much hard work for me while I'm trying to do this. But let me just bring in a new thread. You can bring it in any old where, doesn't really matter. But there is a specific point that you want it to attach to, and I'll show you where that is so that our pattern will work. So I've made my little piece just here. If you have a look, my pattern looks like this. The top start point is here. The bottom, which is what I'm going to show you, is just here. So if we have a look, here's a little fleur-de-lis bit. So I need to be exiting from this bead here towards my fleur-de-lis. Okay? So you can see this is where I'm going to bring in my thread so that it's exiting towards this little tip pink bit. So if we have a look, there is one of the little fleur-de-lis. So I can bring it in here, or here, or here, or any of those just before that little fleur-de-lis. So it doesn't matter where, but I'm going to bring it in on one of them. So I'm going to aim for this one here. So it doesn't really matter how much thread you want to use. I'm going to just tie it into this little bit here, which the easiest way to bring in a new thread is to just weave through a few beads. Leave yourself a little tail that you can just chop off. Tie one knot to bring it into place. There we go, which is a blanket stitch. Just in there. Pull that tight. Pass through a couple more beads. See, I'm using this straight line here that's going to go straight from there to that tip point. So if I just go through maybe 1 or 2 more beads only. What time is it? Oh, gee, this could be a long tutorial today. We've already been nearly an hour. By the way, this could be a really nice bracelet, don't you think? I might make this into a kit for a bracelet. What do you think about that? I'll do the pattern. Maybe I'll make a pattern. I'm going to release the egg pattern on its own because I'm pretty certain we're going to run out of egg kits. So for those of you who miss out on egg kits, hopefully I'll get the egg pattern up over the course of the weekend for you guys to buy for those who miss out on egg kits, if that happens to be the case. Let me just tie this one more time. In there. Get that nice and tight. And now ready. So you know how I showed you I want to be coming out from that little edge bead. So see the middle of the picos. That little edge pico bead just there. Coming out of the middle one towards the first fleur-de-lis bit. So if we come out of that, I've made the pattern to assume that you start at that point to make it as easy as possible for you. I'll stick my egg in, make sure I'm doing the bottom first. So this is the bottom I'm doing here. So if we have a look, there's the thing, there's a fleur-de-lis, there's pointing to it. This is the bottom start point. So there we go, bottom of the egg, and it's going into here and into this little bead towards that bead there. So if I pick up my thread, now what I'm going to do is follow this little pattern. I'm going to be working with 2-drop peyote. So I've got this pattern for the egg bit, the egg bottom and the egg top. I'll show you very quickly what it looks like. I've got full diagrams for this. I haven't loaded those in, unfortunately, but anyway, I can show you the pattern diagrams. So the bottom is going to look a bit like this, but I've also got the full thread path here. So if you have a look, oh no, this is the top. There's the bottom pattern, and here is the bottom thread path. Wait a minute, on my next page, there it is. So here's the thread path. So we've got both, but essentially if you have a look, you can see row number 1, it's written in red, the thread path is in red, and the beads that we're going to be adding are outlined in red. So you can see I'm going to add 2 of my color C, 2 color Cs, 2 color Cs, 2 color Cs, 2 color C, 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 all the way along this first row. So in terms of how that looks in our word chart, because we're doing 7 iterations, you know how we had 7 fleur-de-lis, our little star on the top of, or the bottom of our thing, wherever I've done my eggs, here they are. If you have a look, it's a 7-point star. So we're going to do 7 repetitions to get that 7-star shape. So it's quite easy to do, but this very first beginning is super duper easy. So I only need to use my color C beads for now. So working in 2-drop peyote, essentially, you can see I'm going to join the edge beads all to each other. So I'm going to pick up 2 of these color beads. You don't have to work this on the egg, but I find that it is way easier if you do it, is to pick up 2 beads as per your pattern. I'm going to go into the middle of those 3 beads. So the one that sort of picos outwards, as Eugenia said, the one that picos is absolutely correct. I'll keep my tension firm, and we'll go into the next middle one here. Then so essentially we're just going all the way around our piece until we get to the very end. So it's easy to see. We want to go into the middle bead here. And we're going to just keep picking up 2 beads and going into the middle one. Make sure that the correct bead is the one that's actually sticking out. So 1, 2, 3, always check them. Count them every time so that you don't end up with the wrong bead that's a little bit wonky, because you don't want that. Now this one's the middle one here. Go into that one there. 1, 2, and into here. Pull that through as well. And this, you'll soon see, is going to just bring this a little bit tighter into our egg. So pull that there. Keep my tension firm. 2 more beads. Which the handy thing about this pattern is that the first couple of rows we've done them plain. See now, look at this one. This one looks confusing, but you can see the middle bead is this one. I can just pull it outwards so that it sits a bit better, but then that's the one that we're going into. Make sure you don't accidentally go into the wrong bead. Easy to do. It's easy to go into the wrong one on this very first step, so just take your time with it, be very careful, and make sure you're going into the correct bead every single time. Count them to be certain, to make sure when you go, okay, there's my 3 beads, 1, 2, and 3, so into the number 2. Pull that tight, and you can see it's starting to give this a nice clean edge that we can start working with. What do you think of this red egg color, by the way? I actually really like this. I don't know if it's quite showing on the camera. I think the camera makes it look really dark. Maybe if I hold it up here, you can see the color a bit better. But it is gorgeous. I'll put it on my face real quick, just so you can see the actual color of this thing. No? Come on now. There we go. So yeah, you can see the color a little bit better on this camera. For some reason, it's a bit dark. I think the exposure, because the beads are a bit dark, it's making it look a little bit dark. But anyway, it's a really nice color, this one. There we go. So I'll just continue on now. So again, we want to make sure we don't make a mistake here. Let's go into the middle bead of these 3. So just get your needle in there, pop that little fella out, and pass through. Then all the way through into that middle one here. Two more. Two more. All the way around into that middle bead again. I'll put it into right hand view for a minute for you right-handers at home. And let's zoom in a teeny bit, shall we? So pick up 2 more. Into the middle bead, which is the tip of our fleur-de-lis. 2 more. Where should we put the first section on the egg? I don't know what you mean by that one. Where should we put the first section on the egg? As in the where does this netting bit go? I mean, it will sort of fit in there when we get to it. You sort of will see that it fits nicely into the center. But it doesn't matter too much. You don't have to like glue it in place because the shape will sort of make it fit. Where should we put the first section on the egg? But yeah, you can do the top or the bottom first, but essentially as you go, the netted section will sort of fit in place because the size is designed that it will wrap around that full size exactly. Could you show the turquoise egg finished? Unfortunately, I haven't got the finished version yet. I've only half made it. I just did that little test piece. So I've only got that test piece at the minute. That's why the product photograph isn't fully finished. We're in the middle of finishing off the amethyst one before the stream, which thus far I think is the best seller, this one here, this purple. But let me just continue on. Oops. Got my thread caught in there now from showing you the purple one. Shouldn't have done that. There we go. Pull that through. So you can see I'm almost back at the end now. So what I'm going to have to do is do a nice little join, if you will. So more or less, as I do this, I'm going to come back to where I was and I'm going to do a step up. So a step up, much like in normal peyote, it's nice and easy in this one. I'm going to go through these beads here. I'm going to fill this last little gap. There's just 2 more little gaps, and then this is back to where I began, okay? So if I pick up 1, 2 more, we're going to go through this one here, and now this is where we come back to where we began. This is where our perfect bead to start with was. So we're going to go 1 and 2 into this bead where we began, which finishes off the peyote stitch of this row. And then we do our step up, which is more or less going back into the first beads that we added in this step, which is both of these 2 just here. So this were the first pair of beads we added. We're going to go back through these ones and all the way through them and step up. We pull that tight, and now we're in position to start adding our next row. Kirsten says, could you make this smaller if you have a smaller egg? Yeah, you could give it a go. I mean, the netting, sure, you could make the netting smaller. The peyote, you would have to give it a go. But essentially, if you wanted to do a similar pattern, you would have to have an egg that would give you exactly 6 fleur-de-lis, and then you could do 6 repetitions of your little end here, and then it would give you a slightly smaller one with 6, but you might have to rework this end pattern if you were going to do it a different size other than that, but I'm not sure. So anyway, now that I'm exiting this bead just here, I'm going to grab myself out some more of these bee color beads so I can do a few more. Just get that out. If you've got any other questions, by the way, please do ask them and put a big Q at the beginning. They're getting flashed up to me by, I assume, Andrew or Jermaine in the other room, working as the director of the questions. Okay. Let's get out a few more little beads. There we go. And I'm going to do my next row now. So again, we're working in 2-drop peyote of a fashion, but what's different from normal 2-drop peyote is we're actually only go into the second bead only, not both beads, just the second one. So this is how it differs from 2-drop peyote. Again, this second row is super easy. It's all just one color, but see how there's our next group of 2 beads here. So I'm going to skip the first bead and just go into the second of those 2 beads only. See if I can get the camera to show you it from a good angle. Maybe I can't. There we go. But essentially, that's going to give that there, and then this will sit sort of as a nice little diagonal. See how we've got a nice straight line continuing here now? That's what we're sort of trying to make every time. So I'll pick up 2 more, and I'm going to go into the second bead. So see, there's our next little pair. I'm going to go into just the second bead only, like so. Wonder how that would look if the egg was painted white first. Well, this is my thing. I reckon the golden turquoise one would look great if the egg was white. I reckon this color is probably the best, your background color is probably the best color to paint your egg, because then it will make the colors of your, like, your fleur-de-lis, and it will make the color of your little silver pattern really bright as that little bit there. See the silver? It'll make that stand out even more. So that's my suggestion, is to paint your egg before you wrap it in the color of your background color. So whatever color C is. So I'm going to just continue going around this egg all the way by picking up 2 beads and passing into just the second bead only. The good thing is, which follows in, is that this design, this row is all in just the one color, but after that, I'm going to be working with my pattern, and you'll get to see that. So again, make sure you're going into the second of the 2 beads from the previous row together. Then 2 beads again, and into the second bead of that previous row. So this might take a little while, but I'm trying to do it as quickly as possible because I want you guys to really get to see all of the different techniques on this, and this way is definitely the best. This is why I'm doing the bottom rather than the top, because the top is a little bit easier, but the bottom one shows you that one extra technique that you don't need from the top. So I'm going to cover that as well. and I want you guys to see the whole process. So I'm going to do a couple more rows, and then I'm going to jump ahead onto my purple egg. So I'll have to get those beads out, I just realized. There we go. So into the second bead again. Into the second bead again. You can see I'm trying to keep my tension lovely and firm. The tighter you've got your tension while you do this, the better your egg is likely to fit. So if you don't have a very tight tension, you could go through all of this row again to get it super firm. It's not a necessity, but if you do have it lovely and tight, you do get a very good finish on your egg. Oh, there is one other thing I'll tell you in a little bit, which is... Actually, I'll just tell you now that if you... So I'm always going through the second bead, just so you don't forget. Is if you finish the top of your egg and you're going, oh, it doesn't quite look right, it looks a bit crumply, that's fine, because what happens is by adding the other side of your work... So when you do the bottom, it might look a bit crimply until you add the top on, and that's going to really stretch it out. And you might have the same problem in the opposite way, that if you do the top first, it might look a little bit crumpled, not quite sitting right. But when you start, you just got to commit to it. You do the second side, and you'll soon see that the shape of the egg will actually stretch your beadwork out to be a really nice fit around it as you go those last extra little bits. So I'm going to just keep going through these beads, always coming out the second of the little pairs. I'm almost back at the beginning, am I? About 2/3 of the way. So you'll start to see, it's going to start sort of as we continue. It's going to look like it's sticking out too far, but it will make sense when we just keep going. You've got to just sort of commit to the pattern. You might go, oh, it doesn't quite look right, but if you just keep going, it will all come together in the end. Just position your beads where they need to be and just keep going, and you'll see it does happen. It might not happen overnight, but it will happen. Pretty sure I've heard that somewhere before. Here we go. Into this bead here. Pull that tight. So I'm trying to blast through this quickly because I do want to show you this and the next row as well, because that's going to show you how to do the first sort of row reduce. I could just sort of talk you through it if you're getting bored of seeing this, but hopefully if you've seen enough peyote and you want me to just jump ahead, tell me. But there is a step that I wanted to show you, but that's not at the end of this peyote stitch. It's the end of the next thing where I transform from 2 drop to 1. You can see I'm almost at the back now, almost back to this row. So we go through this one here. Looks easier working the beads while on the egg. Yes, it definitely is. You could do it off the egg if you want to, but I think that on the egg is easier for sure. Gives you something to sort of grip against, and the shape is better, and you get a good tension. It's way easier to get your tension right. So I'm almost back here. This is where I finish. So into that second bead there. And just like before when we stepped up, I'm going to step up in the same way in this one. So you do need to keep track of where you start each row. If you find it difficult when you're doing peyote to know where to step up, you can use like a small piece of thread or maybe a second needle or something like that that will show you this is where I started. This was the first row I did. So for example, these 2 beads here were the first 2 that I did, where you might go, oh, where am I? What do I do now? It's easy to get lost at this point, okay? So if you have a look, we need to make sure that we finish this row of peyote before we step up. So if we make sure we go into that second bead of the row before, which is more or less where our thread started this row, you need to finish this before you step up. So fill that last little gap all the way there, and now we're going to go through both beads that we added in the first iteration of this step. So through there, careful that my thread doesn't get caught, of course it will, and just pull that through, and now we're in position to continue working. So see that? There it is there, sort of coming together, and I'm now ready in position to do my next row, okay? So if I'm doing this, I'm now going to do my third row in the same way of 2-drop peyote. But this time, I need to start incorporating the beads of my pattern. So if I just have a look on my pattern, I'm going to just do it and not necessarily tell it to you. But from here, I'm going to be picking up, 1 minute, let me just check where I'm starting, the bottom thread path. Just make sure I do the pattern just exactly correct. Is row 2 ends here, row 3 is there. Okay, so I need to pick up one color, so we're going to do repetitions. It's really easy because we're doing 4 set repetitions essentially. So 1C and 1A, just make sure I've got the correct bead. Yep, 1C and 1A. And now again, just as before, I'm going to go only into the second bead. See that? So I've picked up 1C and 1A, and I'm going to go into the second bead. So as we pull that tight, that's going to fit nicely just there, I think. Let me just check that that is indeed the correct spot. Are you in the right spot, my little friend? Might not be. It might be 1 bead out, actually. Let me just check that. Check that my pattern is in the right spot. Ah, okay. So it should be... yeah, one more. I need to go one more iteration around before I do this little patterny bit so that it aligns. Because essentially I want my pattern to align. I'll take my needle off. It's better that way. I want my pattern to align, the 7 points of my star, to the middle of this little section here. So the point of the star will align with this little point just here. So I'll pick up my thread, and I'll go 2 of this color and into the second bead of the next one. And now here, I'll go 1C and 1A. Then I'm going to go 2 C's and into that first bead there. 2 C's, so a second group of 2 C's. Then a third group of 2 C's. And now I'm pretty much back to doing 1 point more. So I'm going to pick up a C and an A. So it's 4 groups that we do for every repetition. So that's group number 1, a C and an A. Then we'll do group number 2, which is 2 C's. Group number 3, which is 2 C's. And group number 4, which is a C, which is also 2 C's. Then we're back to our beginning. So now we'll do a C and an A. So that's repetition number 1. Go into that second bead only. Then we need to do 3 groups of the 2 C's. 2 C's. See that? See how that little bead is now nicely aligned with the top of this? That's what we're after. So now 2 C's. Another 2 C's. And now my 4th iteration, which is a C and an A. And just check that your thread isn't twisted, like mine is a little bit. There we go. And into the second bead just here. Got a little bit caught, doesn't matter. There's a little bit tight, just it's got a little bit loose here, but don't worry about that. as we continue, it sort of helps, everything tightens up as we go. So now, second bead there. Then 1, 2, second bead there. 1, 2. So see how the loose bit is moving along with us? It just means that as we continue, all the beads previous are being tightened as we get to the next one. So it's sort of tightening it as we go. So that's why you don't need to worry too much if it gets a little bit loose in places. There we go. So 1, 2, 3, and now 1 and 1. Oops, just through that second bead. So 1C and 1A. 2 C's. See, it's already starting to disappear, that little tight bit. It's not as big as it was already. See? As you continue, everything sort of tightens itself. As long as you can try and keep a nice firm tension, it will continue. Through there. Through the next. And the next. Oh, no. Oops. I forgot my C and my A. See, you got to be careful. You got to pay attention to what you're doing. This is why if you want to lay out the pattern beforehand, it's going to be easier. You won't accidentally forget rows like I just did. You will remember them. I nearly forgot. Into here. Here we go. C and an A. So try and keep track. This is why laying the beads out is always the solution to not making mistakes in your pattern. Lay them out on your bead mat before you continue. There we go. This isn't taking so long after all. I thought this might take me a while, but we're getting through it. We're getting through it. We're almost back. See, look, you can see where this row started here. These 2 beads here where it's sticking up. So we can go through here now. Pick up 2 more. Into that bead there. Ah, I did it again. Did I? Wait. 1, 2, 3. Yes, I forgot. I forgot my B bead. Personally, don't forget, by the way, I'm taking my needle off every time. Just do yourself a favor. Take the needle off because it's way easier to thread a needle on and off, well, especially if you're using Spider-On, than it is to try and unpick a thread that you've accidentally pierced when you tried to take a needle back through it in the wrong direction. So my number one tip to all of you viewers out there who are watching, take your needle off to undo mistakes. That's a hard-learned mistake of my own, and I'm trying to pass the information on to you so you won't have it. So anyway, you can see now I'm back where I need to step up. So once again, don't forget to finish this row of peyote before you step up. Very important. So pick up your 2 beads. We're going to go into the second bead of these 2, which is the previous row, and then step up. So see that? The last iteration, we're going to go through 3 beads because this is the last bead of this previous row and the 2 beads that I added in this step. Okay? Don't forget that. So now we're going to continue along and we're going to go from second bead to second bead to second bead, but now we're only going to, this is going to sort of reduce the size of our little base piece. We're going to pick up, following our pattern, into these little beads here by shrinking it down. So if I follow my pattern, I'm going to go into the second bead. I'm only picking up 1 bead this time. So this is going to shrink it down and make it much smaller. So this will go just into that second bead, 1 only. When you do this, this starts to look quite loose, but it will tighten later. So following my pattern, second bead, just like that there. Then I'm going to continue just 1 bead every time, joining into the second from the row below. See that? So now we've turned it into like doing 1 drop peyote. So we were doing 2 drop peyote, picking up 2 beads. Now I'm just picking up 1 at a time. And what I like to do is pull this a little bit tighter But again, don't worry, if you've got a little bit of thread showing, it's going to tighten later on as well. So now I'll pick up my next one and into the second bead of this row. Then into here. And into this row, the second bead of this one here. See how that's giving us a nice little point to our triangle? It'll get even better later. So into that one there, into the second bead of this one, into there. And I'll pull that tight. Second bead of the next group. Into this little bead here. So I'm following my pattern, which you get with the kit, and I will make available as a download. But yeah, it's funny, when you pull this, you'll see you get this nice little popping when you pull it tight and then pull it backwards a little. See, it just pops back into that little gap. And this little process is really shrinking the size of our row. Pretty much by half, really. Making it much tighter now. So we just continue on like this. Into the second bead. Always into the second bead of that peyote stitch. Trying to keep it nicely in camera shot for you all. And again. And we'll soon get back into position to step up. So through the second bead, pull it tight. Pick up one through the second bead of the row previous and pull tight. Through the second bead of the row previous and pull tight. See? Easy. And we're almost back now to the beginning of our work, where I will sort of just jump ahead, I reckon. After I've finished this row, I'm going to jump ahead to show you a different way of reducing, because otherwise you'd have to watch me do like 4 rows of peyote in single, which you don't really want to see. I'll do the first bead maybe of the row, but after that I won't bother. And I'll jump ahead into my amethyst egg, and then we're almost finished. We're on the home stretch. So always into that second bead. Into the second bead, into the second bead every time. Go. And now I'm back at the beginning. So you can see, if I was going to go into the second bead, here are the 2 beads from my row previous and the very first bead I added in this step. So I'll pick up one more bead. I'll go through the bead to finish off this row of peyote and step up into the next bead as well. Both beads, okay? It's important that you do that. So now that we're at this point, essentially you can see we've got all these little beads that we've sort of peyoted in. So there's this one here, we've had this one, we've added this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one. They're all sticking up now. So essentially we would just use normal single peyote to go one to the next, and so on. So if I just pick this up, you'll see the gist. Pick up one bead, go into the next one, and pull that tight. And as you pull that tight, it sort of brings it all a bit closer. If there's a little bit of thread in here, don't worry, it's going to move around as we continue. So I'll pick up my next bead, and into there. Pick up my next bead, and into there. See, now we're just doing single peyote, single bead peyote. And it just brings this inwards, in, slowly over time, until eventually we're going to be reaching towards the center of our little egg. So just keep going in single bead peyote. I mean, look how quickly this is coming together now. You just got to follow that pattern as you go. I'm not going to do too many more beads because you've got the gist, I think, of just single bead peyote. Following your pattern, which is a 4 bead repeat. Every time it's a 4 bead repeat until we start doing our first reductions. So look, if we say this is bead number 1, bead number 2, bead number 3 is another gold one. We go into here, pull that tight. Bead number 4 is one of our red ones. Pull that tight. And that's a full repetition. See, look, so now to create the other side of that, we're back to number 1. So we go the same bead for number 1. We use bead number 2, which is, oops, sorry, this one here. The third bead of our repetition, which is another gold one. Into here. And bead 4 of our repetition. Into here. So essentially it's a repetition of just 4 beads every time for now. So look, bead number 1 again. Into there. Pull tight. Bead number 2. Into there. Pull tight. Bead number 3. Into there. Pull tight. And bead 4. Into there. Pull tight. Right? Have we got the gist? See, look, you can see where I'm at now. It's creating this little pattern. It's coming together. The pattern is coming together. It's looking good, right? What do we think? So we just have to keep going around and around and around and around and around and around, reducing rows. So I'll show you what I mean by reducing a row. So if I just jump ahead now, ta-da, magically my thing's made of purple beads. And see, look, this is what the top looks like when it's all finished, which looks pretty cool, right? There it is from the side. See, this is why the back, I needed to have painted my egg. It makes me sad I didn't paint my egg. But anyway, if you're going to make it, paint your egg, everyone. So yeah, I'll show you now how we're going to continue with this as though we would do our row reductions. So if I just find my little word chart, here we go. I'll do the peyote of this one. Jackie says you make it look so easy, Matthew. Well, I'm well practiced, but you'll find it's surprisingly a lot more simple than it looks. It looks complicated, but it really isn't. It really isn't. So anyway, I'm going to continue now. My color B, wait, I need to get my beads out. Just realized I was almost going to do it with red beads. That would have been a mistake. Let me just get my purple kit color beads out. So I've got some of those little purple beads here. The kit colorways, I had them. Oh yeah, see, look. Here's the red kit that I've been using. Wait. See, these are the 3 colors that you get from the red one. Plus, of course, you get your thread and needle included. All of our kits come with thread and needle. And the colors are labeled. So color A, color B, and color C. I've got the camera in right-hand view. So anyway, the purple, which is what I'm using now, has this lovely silver-lined amethyst. It looks really dark for some reason. I don't know. Maybe if I hold it up, it'll look a bit brighter. It's got a metallic purple and a really nice gold color in there as well. Let me just get those out. Teresa says, love this color. I'm glad you like it. Okay, let me just get out a couple of these little purple beads. I didn't really want to break apart a kit, but it doesn't matter. But yeah, here you go. You can see this is what the kit includes. You'll get your egg. You do get an egg. You've got your thread, which has the needle in it. You've got your seed bead color A, which I don't know why it looks so dark. Why does it look so dark? It's a really rich purple color. Maybe if you look at the product photo on the website, you'll see what the color really looks like. It's because I've got the lights on nice and bright. You got color B, color A, color B, and color C is this one just here. So if I just put them into position, I will be able to continue. I don't think I need any of my color C's anymore, do I? Nope. just A's mainly. So I've got a couple of B's, and then the rest are A's. Let me just get a few A beads out.
You've got the beads there.
I know, I've got them in my hand.
No, don't take them out of the kit.
Oh, you're right. No, oh yes, I do have the gold ones, you're right.
Yeah,
Good, I don't have to take them out of this kit. I thought I was going to have to take apart a kit, but now I don't. Good.
Yes, because Mummy would have snapped.
Okay. I did have the beads, so I don't need to take apart this kit after all, thank goodness. Look, look, look. There's your beading needle included with your thread. Okay, let me just grab out those final few beads. And this isn't going to take long, really. So it's primarily A's and B's, but I'm going to show you how we do our final type of row reduction. So this is the last thing that you need to know from how you go from having all those beads to just these few. So if I just do this nice and easily, let's put it in here. So if I just do this last one like so, you can see I'm exiting this one. I'm going to just do one bead peyote. So I'm going to go through that into this bead. And then I'll show you. So this is just standard single peyote that we're going to be doing. So now into the next bead. It's funny, you can tell Jermaine's made this one because it's going in the opposite direction now. My ones I always make in like a clockwise fashion, and Jermaine always makes hers in a counterclockwise fashion. I guess because I'm left-handed and she's right-handed. Pull that up. And then into the next one. And the next. So I'm going to just do this last little bit in single peyote, and then I'm going to show you how you reduce it down to the next size into... There we go. We're almost there. See, we're almost back to where we started this step already. See, it doesn't take long. Once you get to really close to the middle, it gets really easy, really quick. Here we are, last bead. Just fill this little gap up here. And then step up. So this is the last bead from this row. Sorry, this one here. And then we step up into the first bead I added in this step here, see? So this is the first one I did on this row. So I'll just go into here, all the way through, and that's going to give us our next row. But now we want to reduce our row. So we're going to do a row reduction, because if we just kept doing this, we'd start making like a random tube that just comes out the bottom, which would look really weird. But that's not what we want. So essentially what we're going to do is join two beads to each other. So see how we've got an up bead here, we've got an up bead here, one here, one here, one here, one here, one here, all the way around like that, okay? We're going to start stitching some of them to each other. So what I mean by that is, if you have a look, I'm coming out of this little bead just here. This is how we do a row reduction on circular peyote stitch. So first things first, I'm not going to pick up any beads here. I'm not going to pick up any beads here, or here, or here, or here, or here. So when there's two purples above a purple, I'm going to just stitch them straight into the very next bead. So pull that all the way through. And if you have a look, ready? It just pulls them ever so slightly together. See that? So I've pulled them together. Now I'll pick up one of my A beads and I'll go into the next one beside it. Now I'm going to do another join, okay? So the way I do a join is I'm exiting this bead, I'm not picking up a bead, I'm just going to go straight into the next one. Pull that tight, pick up a bead, and go into the next one. And while I'm there, I'm going to do my next join. So joining these two together, and then as I pull that, we now just have these two. See, look, when you pull them, these two come just that little bit closer to each other. Pick up another and go through this one here, and I'll go through the other purple one. So I'm doing both steps in one go. I'm adding a bead and joining these two. Pull that tight. Pick up a bead. Into here. Plus I'm going to do my join at the same time. Pull that tight. That fills this gap. Then again, pick up one bead. And now you see I've reduced the number of beads that I'm actually having to add. So what I had before, I had 14 beads before. Now after this step, I'm only going to have 7. Because essentially I'm halving the number of beads. Doesn't that look good? It's so easy. So through here, join these two to each other. And then don't forget, we have to, as usual, step up into the very first bead that we added in this step, which is this one here. So pull that tight, and we're going to just step up. There we go. And now we're going to go around our circle just with A beads. We don't need to worry about any other colors. So we're going to go from A bead to A to A to A to A to A. All of these. We're going to skip these ones below. So they look a little bit loose at first when we do this, but you'll find when you pull them tight, they're going to fill that little gap. So the more I've added, you'll soon see the tighter and tighter it's going to look, and it's going to give us that lovely little star shape happening, bringing it ever closer. So this first iteration, you'll still see there's a little bit of thread in the gaps there. It's going to disappear when we finish this row and we do our next row. It will start to disappear. So just in each gap, we're going to put one little bead. In the gap, put one little bead. In the gap, fill it with one little bead. Just like that. There we go, and I only have to add 7 beads in total. Last one, into here, and step up. So finish this row of peyote and step up. Pull that tight, and now you'll see it's time to add another row. And this time, as before, I'm going to just go into the up beads. So if you have a look, this one sticks up, this one, this one, this one, skipping the rest. So I'm going to just go one to the other, and then as I do this, you'll see that because there's not much space, it's going to sort of squeeze everything just a little bit tighter and firm it all up. It would be better if I had my other hand to do my tension, but because Mum's done it, I don't really have that luxury. So anyway, I'm exiting this one, and I'm going to go into the next up bead and pull that tight. Then I'll go into the next one and pull that up tight. So you would have to do a few row reductions to get down to this, but eventually you do get there. And the tighter and tighter it gets, it's a little more difficult to see exactly where you've got to go, but if you just count how many beads you're meant to have done, you will be able to keep track of it, which I probably should have been counting, but luckily I know approximately where I need to go. This one here, how many have I got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. One more. Into the next up bead. And there's one more after that too. So there we go. And now I've just got to fill this gap here by going from here into there and then stepping up into that bead. Pick up that one. Into this bead here, and stepping up into the first bead we added in this row. There you go. And now essentially, because you can see we're almost at the close. When you get to this sort of point, when it's this small, we can see how many beads are actually going to fit. So if you have a look, I've got an up bead just here, so I'll go into that next up bead. But you might find that you don't really have the space anymore to fill all of those gaps. So you might want to join some of them to each other. But I'm going to just test it out and see how we go. So you've got to be a little flexible at the end here. It depends on your tension. If you've got a tight tension, it'll fit better. If you've got a looser tension, you'll have probably more space. We'll see. I might actually fit all 7 in, and that might just be where I finish off. I might not have to do anything more after that. So this one here, through there. And just pop them into the center. And you might go, oh, I don't really have space now for another one. So what you can do is just join them to each other. It doesn't matter if they're a little bit not so neat. So this one, I'm going to just join it straight to the next one. I'm not going to bother adding a bead. So this is what I mean by you've sort of got to use your intuition here and go, actually, I don't have space for a bead in there. So I'll just stitch them to each other. So this one here, stitch them to each other. And the next one, yeah, I've got space for that one. Go into that. And hopefully, that's probably about enough that if I just try and lay them all down, they won't really have space for any more. So I can just join this straight to the next one to sort of tighten that up, close it over. And now I'll just finish that peyote, step up, and I'm going to join all of these ones to each other. So just through the up bead, without adding any others. If you find that you do have some space to add one bead just to get it a little neater, you can add one in. See, look, we might have space for one more, we might not. We'll soon find out. Going to this fella here. Ah, yeah, I reckon I could probably fit one more. Let's have a look. Do I need to? Ooh, tough choice. I will add one. Just straight into there. Then into there. And that's going to give us our little egg base. You can go around this little circle a few times. Oh, sorry, I just didn't realize I was just a little bit out of shot there. There we go. And one more. Let's just continue around this little circle till it's really, really firm. And it's all closed up. I don't think I'm going to need any more beads now. I'm happy with this, I think. But you can even skip some of the beads you've added just to help it really sort of fill the gap. Sort of spiraling inwards a bit, if you know what I mean. There we are. Look at that. All full. And then, ta-da, we have one closed egg. All finished. Look at that. How's that look? What do we think? Looking all good, eh? I'm happy with that. I am happy with that. Just tighten it. So yeah, you just got to keep going around it until you feel like it's like a good shape. See, look. All full. Not awful, all full. So that's why I've said to you, you've kind of got to be flexible based on your tension, the size of the beads, and then that's going to give you your fully finished little egg. So there's my finished purple egg. It's looking really, really good, actually. I love the colours. The colours look so good with each other. Monica says very pretty. Jackie says love it. Here we go. So this is our fully finished purple egg. Our fully finished jewel-coloured egg. Do you know what? Let's see. If I turn this down, hopefully you'll get better colour contrast happening. because I've got the brightness up so that it looks a little easier to see while I'm working, but now that I've finished, hopefully that'll give us the contrast that we were after. And then this one here is that golden turquoise, so you'll have to just sort of imagine that one, I suppose. And there you go. There are your 5 different colours: the pastel, the jewel, the amethyst, the romance red, I think it's called at the minute, but maybe we'll change that. And then this one here is our golden turquoise. What do we think? Which one's everybody's favourite colour? This one I've just finished. You can see it's a lovely, nice, clean little finish with that gorgeous star on the bottom. Maybe you can see it a bit better on this one because the colours are a bit more contrasty in this lighting for some reason. I don't know why. But anyway, I will show you now, just very quickly, over onto the Bead Spider website. If I just pop on over to that. Oh, don't forget, I've got our competition to announce after this. So don't run away. I've got to show that. So I'll just pop on over to there. Ah, wait. Shall I leave myself in the corner? Yeah, why not, eh? I can be in the magical world of the internet. So here we go. So from here, oh, do you know what? I could even be like, yeah, see. So if you click this big box, just down here, this big box, just over there, just in there, down there. This big thing just here. This is a bit easier, isn't it? If you click on this, this will take you to where you can watch this tutorial again. If you missed the beginning or something and you want to catch up or you want to watch it ever again, you can just click on this big box. If you missed our previous shows, the 3 most previous ones, so last Friday, the Friday before, and the Friday before that are all here. Otherwise, the other videos up here where it says kits and tutorials, if you come over here and then over to video tutorials, click on that. It'll take you to our tutorial library where we have lots of videos. So we've got our Fabergé egg tutorial, which is today's one, last week's, that mermaid odd count peyote bracelet one, how to make heart bracelet, this one here, which is like circular peyote to make coins, Christmassy things. There's that angel wing that I was telling you about a bit earlier. There's a really nice pendant here. Look, load more. This is the best button ever because there's more. There's so many more. Herringbone beaded bells, big pendants over here, things with candy beads, little crystal beaded ball earrings. I don't know. There's loads and loads of different videos to watch. But if you want to get the kit for today's video, it looks like, yeah, the stock's getting low. The stock's getting low. So go quickly if you want to get one. Otherwise, you might miss out. But here they are. These are the 5 different colors. So we've got the amethyst egg here, which I can now photograph our little eggy fellow and put him into the picture there. See, look. Oh, wait, I'm almost there. Wait, there. Just, ta-da. Oh, no, it's out of shot. Anyway, there you go. That's the amethyst egg. We've got the golden turquoise, which is this one here. The jewel color, which is this one, is just here. The romantic red, which I love. This one's my favorite. For sure, this is my favorite. This is the romantic red just here. I just clearly like red. And then the pastel one is this one just down here. So there's your pastel egg. You can just go in, add them to the basket. If you want to make a few of them, you can get multiples. There you go. But I'm going to put the instructions on the website as well, but because it looks like we might run out of kits. So I might put the instructions on over the weekend, but not yet. But anyway, so there's that. But also, don't forget, we do have our bead group. There is a little link in the description where you can view our bead group where we've been running our beading competition for the last week or so. So I'm going to just pop it back to the little picture of my eggies on the table while I sort out the pictures, because I'm going to announce the winners of our competition. Everybody, now's the time. Which one's your favorite color? Come on, vote. Which one's everybody's favorite? Wayne says the dark blue. Monica says I love them all. Rhonda loves the blue. Irina says I love the amethyst. Jerry wants me to stay in the corner. Well, here I am. So anyway, let me just find this competition because we're just going to be announcing it now. This is where the winners are. I don't even know who's won or anything yet because it's been just getting done while I've been doing the stream now. Hopefully they're all ready. Just waiting for the computer to load as per usual. Come on now. I tell you, this is the problem with technology. Here we go. Okay, so, right, okay, great. I've got them all. So we've got 10 photos to show you all. So I might not have the names of everybody. Oh, I just realized I've frozen a bit for a second there. There we go. I'm back. So, okay, all right. Let me now go on over and I'll show you. We were running the Stars of Bollywood beading competition. This was over in our Facebook group, which there's a link to the Facebook group down in the description for you to go and have a look at. Lots and lots of people have entered, which is great, but I've got 10 things here, and then I've got a first, second, and third. So I think we've got, yes, I think I do. Let me just check I've got all the images in. Whoops. Here we go. So, yep, I think I've got it all. I've got it all. Here we are. Okay, let's go through them. So the very first one of our honourable mentions, we've got a few honourable mentions, is Amy Schneider, just here. She's made this really lovely, oh, Rhonda says drum roll. Okay, I'll do the drum roll when we get towards the end. But anyway, Amy has made this gorgeous little table covering, which, funnily enough, she looks like she's used the same style of netting that I used just in today's tutorial to make this. It's the same kind of netting as I've just done, but in a sort of more three-dimensional circular shape. So that's a really cool thing. It kind of reminds me of like a mandala type thing. So that's one of our honourable mentions. Jackie has made some lovely little beaded things here. Just some nice sort of simple bead weaving projects. There's a really interesting little bell at the bottom, it almost looks like, with some earrings there. And then over on the right, again, some nice simple bead weaving little shapes. I really like the shape of that bracelet that she's got in the middle there at the bottom right corner. Looks fantastic. So again, that's another one of our honourable mentions. So congratulations to Jackie. Thanks for entering the competition. Lois here has made, these are really nice little earrings actually. I haven't seen any of these pictures, funnily enough. So we're just going through them now. These are really, really cool. I like how you've done the, used those either super duos or maybe they're the twin beads I made the little beaded box out of. And has turned those into a really cute pair of earrings. Again, they would be very, very Bollywood-esque if you were wearing those, you know, on set. You know, when you're doing the big dances with 1,000 people. Susan has sent in something similar, actually, in the bottom left, a really nice pair of round, big circular earrings in the bottom left, and also some circular ones right there in the middle. Plus she's done what looks like a gorgeous pearl necklace or something similar to that, and then maybe, is that amethyst? Do you think that's amethyst? I can't quite tell. They look like they might be amethyst beads. Well, anyway, thank you for sending those in, Susan, as well. They look great. I'm really glad that you could send us in your entry. They look lovely, lovely. 3 little pieces there, which would, of course, also look perfect on the set of a Bollywood film, I think. Where's my next picture? There we go. Susan Wainwright. Wow, what are these? These look spectacular. I tell you, this is one of the ones that didn't get a prize. I want to know what did get a prize. So this one here, they look like, I don't even know. It looks like some big, maybe some agate, some big agate beads at the top there, and potentially there's sort of like these metallic iridescent looking little leaf shapes that she's made, sort of attached all together as one lovely necklace pendant, I think it is. But those are gorgeous. I love those. It's got like a really nice leafy shape about it. due to the sort of irregularity of it. Gorgeous, gorgeous. So this one here, we've got Teresa Smith. Again, she's used a bit of bead netting, which is kind of similar. It looks a little bit like the collar when we did the Ruth Bader Ginsburg tutorial. It looks kind of like that, so it looks really, really nice. And then she's used these big focal beads on the bottom. Again, those rich sort of orange, golds, reds that you would find in a Bollywood movie. So that one there, I don't think it's one of our winners. I'll just check. I'm pretty sure there's going to be something that's going to tell me who actually are the winners. So anyway, we'll go on to the next one. Oh, yes, Wayne Wiley. Here we go. This is Wayne's little one here. It's almost like mermaid scale. Super cool. Wayne's watching. I know he's watching. So thanks for joining us, Wayne, for today's stream and for entering the competition. This looks really, really fantastic. Looks like those little beads there, they look like scales. I can't remember what they're called, but he's put them with... looks like super duos or twins, and then those half moon 2-hole beads as well. So a really, really cool design that he's done here that looks a lot like sort of mermaid scales, those blues and purples and sort of greeny tones that make up that mermaid look. Gorgeous. Thanks for sending that one in. This one here, third prize. Congratulations, Stacey. You are getting a 15, I think it's 15? Yes, we've got a £15 voucher on this one. Second place is 20 and first place is 25. So £15 voucher is going to Stacey on this one. She said, I taught English as a second language for a time and had several students from India. The girls always wore little anklets with bells on them. This, along with bright colours of the holy festivals, were used as my inspiration for making a cuffed beach sandal. So that's really, really cool. Thanks, Stacey, for sending that one in. Congratulations. You're going to win one of our £15 prize vouchers. I'm pretty sure Stacey's here. She said she even commented in just a few minutes ago. Good timing. I was about to ask about the competition. Well, congratulations. You're one of the winners. The colours are fantastic. The choice of beads, it's like shell looks like memory wire, little hanging things. This one has definitely got that... Bollywood theme down to a T. So excellent work there. Congratulations. That's third place. So now we've got second place, which is Suzanne as well. She's put in a second one. This one, second place runner-up. It says, this is a sumptuous faux leather and faceted agate necklet I made in peacock colours. Each flower is made separately and then assembled using glue and strong thread. Wow, so interesting. These are 2 different leaf shapes used, and I curled them to make a flower shape. The lily flower was my inspiration, as romance and intrigue are essential ingredients in the melodrama and symbolism of Bollywood folk stories and themes. So I really thought about this one in terms of the design to make it that sort of Bollywood theme, and definitely has well-earned second place for that one. So congratulations there to Suzanne. I really, really like that design. Thank you for sending that one in. It looks absolutely stunning, and I hope you all love it as much as I do out there in the real world. Look at those colours. They're so spectacular. What artisanship. It's a wearable piece of artwork, that one. Now, this one here is our number 1 prize. So, as promised, I'm going to give you that drum roll. I was asked to do a drum roll, so here we go. The winner is... of our Stars of Bollywood. I'll do it on the table where it'll be a bit louder. What a terrible drum this is. Wait, there we... No, it sounds too knocky. Oh, well. Here we go. And the winner is... Jill Goldfinch, the winner of our prize, who's getting a £25 voucher. She says, here is my Bollywood-inspired necklace. I wanted to incorporate spice colours with gold filigree to highlight the vibrant Indian theme and envisage dancers with equally vibrant costumes. Do you know what? This one I can definitely see why this is a winner. This is a spectacular little piece that Jill has made here. It looks really, really gorgeous. The rich orange is exactly the color you would expect it to be, married up with that gold. Looks beautiful as well. The circular peyote stitch around, circular brick stitch, sorry, around the little gold beads in the center looks really, really cool. And then each one is sort of fanned out, and it's all put together with a gorgeous little, looks like a beaded rope that she's done there with bicones in the center. So she sort of all brought it together, but that central pendant piece that's a little bit hollow, I love it. I really, really love this design. It looks so spectacular and absolutely deserving of first place. So congratulations to Jill. That looks fantastic. I really, really like that one a lot. So thank you very, very much, Jill, for entering into the competition and winning our first place prize. So for those of you who didn't see it, the competition was our Stars of Bollywood, which I think you guys have done a great job trying to bring that to life. And yeah, we've had some great winners, I think. Some excellent suggestions, some great ideas, and it looks really, really lovely. So anyway, that's pretty much it. Oh, I just realized the sun has just come out, so my face is now illuminated significantly more than it was. But yeah, congratulations to everybody who entered. For those of you who want to get the kit, yes, we've still got some stock. We've still got some stock. So hopefully we'll be able to have enough kits for everybody, but they are selling very, very quickly. But yeah, if you want to get yours, we are shipping them worldwide. So it doesn't matter where you are in the world, we will ship to you. If you're in the US, you can have standard shipping, which is standard airmail, first class airmail, and it will come to you. We have a flat rate price. It doesn't matter how big or small your order is. Obviously, you will just pay that one fee. So the bigger your order is, the more worthwhile your postage will be, I suppose. Where if you are in Europe, the same applies. If you're in the UK, it's £2.25 unless you're a Bead Spider member, which is free to join. Free to join, and then you get free postage on all orders over £10. If you are outside of North America, Europe, and the UK, we do worldwide shipping, where essentially we'll fill your order. It doesn't matter how big or how small it is. We get it all packed up. We get everything all organized. We weigh it out. We pack it as small as we can. We find out the cheapest way that we can get it to you in a nice, timely fashion, and then we'll send you a little invoice for that amount. So essentially, you're only paying the shipping that you are using, and not a penny more. So we've tried to make it as easy as possible for everyone, as inexpensive, so that we can encourage all of you around the world. We've got a lot of people watching from all over the world. So we've tried to do it like that, so it's as easy as possible for everyone. I should also mention that you can choose your currency. So our store is in pounds. If you haven't seen this before, if you are new to Bead Spider, you can, of course, subscribe to our channel. Please do like this video, subscribe to the channel, etc. But yeah, you can choose your currency. We've got pounds, euros, and US dollars as our payment options at the minute. We're hoping to get more, but not yet. But yeah, thank you all very, very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's tutorial. Of course, do comment down just below which of the 5 colors that you liked best. I want to know which one you liked, which one... I hope, let me know. Give us your thoughts. Tell us about the pattern. What do you think about the pattern? How would you make it? What colors would you use? All of that sort of thing. But yeah, thank you all very, very much for watching. Congratulations to our winners as well, especially Jill, who won the gold prize there. I am off overseas on holiday, so I'm not going to be here next Friday, but Jermaine will be. So there's going to be a really lovely tutorial. I want to... shall I tell him what it's going to be? Shall I tell him? I know what it's going to be next Friday. I don't know if I want to tell you, but maybe I will. I will. Do you know what? Jermaine is making a gorgeous, beautiful beaded flower, a new beaded flower. We've got a bit of a range of these beaded flowers coming. So Jermaine will be doing the stream next Friday in place of me because I'll be off in Madrid on holiday. Yeah, make sure you are back for next Friday for a live tutorial with Jermaine where she's going to be showing you how to make a gorgeous lily of the valley beaded flower, right? Sounds alluring, doesn't it? So anyway, thank you all very, very much for watching. Don't forget, like, share, subscribe, all of that. Jermaine is reminding us to like, share, and subscribe. But yeah, thank you very, very much for watching. I hope you had a lovely time. And I will see you all after my holiday. I'll be back the Friday after. We're always here, 3 p.m. UK time on a Friday. So I'll see you on my next one. And next week, you'll see Jermaine. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.